Good morning. It's a Sunday again, and welcome to another Your Lurgan podcast. I'm Donagh McKeown.
And whenever you watch this, I'll still be lying on my bed all being well. I'm Michael Scott. I'm wrecked. I'm clean wrecked. I just don't know what's wrong with me. I've just no energy. I'm tired. I want to stay in my bed. I'm burnt out. I need to sleep. I think my problem is poor Ethan hasn't been well this week. We've had, he said, just a cold, like nothing serious, thank goodness. But we've been up during the night, and it's been one of those weeks.
I'm gonna treat you like a bar of soap, and this is a really old bar of soap. That's life, boy.
I know, I'm well used to it.
Wow.
But yeah, it's actually been a quiet week. It's been busy in terms of stuff coming in, but stuff worth talking about in a podcast, probably not that much.
Well, having said that, we had a bumper week of bumper weeks last week. We had so much to talk about.
We did, and then sure, whenever we recorded the podcast and we came home, we were talking about Primark and news that it might be coming soon, and then of course news landed that it was opening the week before Christmas. So
do push me in the arm if I fall asleep when you're talking about this. Shopping's not one of my highlights, but it's amazing how popular this has been.
I can tell you now that the response to that Primark story is probably one of the biggest responses to a story we've ever had on Your Lurgan. And in fact, the story
except for the arrival of who came to visit us, the world famous celebrity.
Oh God, yes, forgot about her. Yeah. It was actually our sister titles, the Ulster Gazette and Joan Courier, also shared the story, and they had a phenomenal response to it too. So yeah, it's been it's crazy. And sure, look at it's opened down in Belfast during the week. People queuing up to get into it. I would imagine we're going to have a similar reaction, similar queue, similar scenes in at Craigavon. I think it's the 16th or 17th. I think it's the 16th maybe of December.
Well, just before
the week before Christmas, yeah.
It's an iconic building in Belfast. Less iconic, but it's another one of these anchor stores that you need if you're running a shopping centre. This will really bring an extra life to the shopping centre. It's doing okay.
It'll bring extra life, and it will bring extra footfall to the shopping centre, because people are going to be very keen to get in there, particularly that week before Christmas, and I suppose in the weeks after as well.
I'm more of a Christmas Eve 4:30 to 5 sort of shopping man, so that's what I'll be there.
I've already started.
Oh, have you?
I have. I like to get it done nice and early.
I haven't put up with the last Christmas, Michael.
Do you know why? I like to have it done, and then I can enjoy the rest of Christmas. I don't have to worry about getting people presents. If I need to get something the last minute, I can do it. But it means that I'm not getting surrounded by people like you who are in my road trying to get
Thanks for
get
that.
presents.
Therein lies the difference between us.
Just being organised.
Preparation and organisation.
Just being organised.
Against mayhem and madness.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I'll probably not be going out to get any presents at all. Bah humbug. I love Christmas. I love the spirit of Christmas. I'm not a big fan of the shopping at Christmas. Bah humbug.
I don't like spending money, let's be honest. Don't think anybody does it this time of year, and particularly in the times we live in. But no, I suppose maybe if you have a child in the house, you have to do it. So yeah.
Well, Ethan, we'll make sure he gets out there, let's tell you. And I might even go out and look for something for Ethan himself. Shh. Anyway, we shouldn't really be talking about Christmas. We've just gone past Halloween. We're doing what all the shops are doing. Talking about the C word. We'll try not to mention it.
I know we shouldn't, but preparations are well underway, because obviously in a couple of weeks' time we're going to have Christmas light switch-ons coming up. If you look in the town centre, you're going to see lights up. They're not lit up, but they're up.
I saw them putting them up on Monday. I was nearly going to take a picture and send it to you. So yes, that is happening. The preparations are fun.
It's not far away. It'll be here upon us, but sooner than you realise.
Now, I was in County Galway this week, Michael.
Good Galway.
Absolutely. Down in a place
Great advert that. I love that one.
A place called Gort, which is south of Galway, about 30 miles, or they say half an hour in Galway terms, maybe less. And I went to Cool Park. Now, Cool Park is a cool place. It's a national park, and it was the home of Lady Gregory, who started the Irish Gaelic revival in the 1880s. Now, I'm coming to it because it has a Lurgan connection.
Right, okay.
Right in the middle of one of its beautiful trees, I think it's a beech tree, there is an autograph tree where Lady Gregory and a number of people of that revival were there, and they signed their names, like Yeats and Synge and all these writers. And who is there in the middle of them? Number 14 on the page. I'll put a picture in now of the tree. A.E. Russell.
Oh, your man.
Oh, your man. So there's a Lurgan connection. I wasn't out researching for the newspaper, of course.
Funny you mentioned W.B. Yeats, and I just noticed here on your table you've got a bottle of W.B. Yeats water. I've had some of that. Not your water. I mean, whenever I was away the other week, the hotel room had 3 of these cardboard cartons of water, and it was W.B. Yeats water.
And that's where I got mine. Not in your room, but in another room in another hotel.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Who would have known that one of Ireland's most famous writers has now taken to purifying water?
He has produced the classics, and funny enough, Lurgan produces classic too. Classic
right.
Mineral water. What a connection.
Unbelievable. I can't believe we've managed to do that. Anyway, let's talk about the week's news. What have we got to talk about? We'll talk about news which emerged on Friday. Probably a bit more general than just Lurgan. But, of course, if you've been living under a rock, you'll not know this, but there's been talk of an election.
There's so much talk of election, and you think it's across the water, but it was here they were talking about.
Well, by the looks of it, I mean, people were giving off saying, oh, we're going to have another election within 6 months of having an election. Well, we might still be having an election within 6 months of having an election, because people are forgetting there's another election coming up next year, which is the council election in May, which has to happen. It'll probably happen. I think it'll probably happen Irish Cup final weekend, which will be great. Glad get the Irish Cup final. I can tell you where I'll be, and I'll not be at an election count. But anyway, sorry. But oh, mind you, I don't think I have anything to worry about in that front.
Oh, it'll not be Glenavon, is what you're saying.
We'll not worry about that. Anyway, it could be Oxford United Stars, it could be Donaldstown, it could be Lurgan Town, I think, are still in the Irish Cup.
Yeah.
I think the draw was made the other day. You can find it on Your Lurgan. Anyway, I digress. The Assembly election, a lot of talk it was going to happen on the 15th of December, the day before pre-marked opened.
Of which all things will be marked.
Tell you what,
Christmas is coming up 7 days after the opening of pre-mark.
Do you know what though? Because we might well do a Facebook Live from the opening.
Don't worry, I've already thought of that far ahead. I'm just thinking exactly.
I'm just thinking how I get from there to the election count in Magherafelt, which is probably where it'll be. But anyway,
well, we can send one here and one there.
That'll do. We'll work it out. Okay. Anyway, it's not happening anyway. We don't need to worry because the election's not happening this side of Christmas. Chris Heaton-Harris, the Secretary of State, announced on Friday in an early morning statement that after all his talk that we're going to have an election, he never really said when the date was. There was a supposed date of the 15th of December, but it's now not going to be that date, which is good news. The reason we're talking about this is because it's good news for local schools who might have been planning pantos and school trips and stuff like that, end of term parties. They can go ahead.
So dare I say it, elections are not for Christmas. They're for different parts of the year all right.
Elections are not for Christmas, they're for the new year by the sounds of it.
Okay, good stuff.
Personally for me they're for the scrap heap, but there we go. So we don't know what's happening there, and we don't really know. I think it's an election that nobody really wants. This is the thing. I can't understand. Well, obviously he's legally obliged to do it apparently, but nobody wants this election. Politicians don't want it. They're willing to fight it, they don't really want it. Business people don't want it because of the uncertainty it will bring. The public don't want it because it's cold outside and they don't want to go outside of the house unless they have to. Plus it's in the middle of Christmas, people have other things on.
Well, who knows the machinations of what's happening in the rest of the United Kingdom, London. The negotiations about protocol may have completed themselves somewhat, which is what the logjam is this side of the water.
Aye. I'm sure they will have.
I didn't say which Christmas.
No, true. No, I don't know what's going to happen. To be honest, I was almost going to turn around and say I don't even know why we're talking about it because we've weeks to go.
Okay.
But
so we get a crystal ball in
look,
someday.
As I said, I'm tired. I'm fed up. I'm just done now.
We'll get a clairvoyant and see if they can join us one of the weeks, and they may be more accurate than we'll ever be, that's for sure. So that's one of the big stories, of course, externally from, but would have affected us here in the Lurgan area.
Would have affected everyone, yeah, but yeah. We'll move on. You had produced a video, Don, during the week regarding tourism-y type stuff.
Tourism, I suppose.
Tourism type stuff, that's what we found under. There'll be a new section in Your Lurgan launched in the near future called tourism-y type stuff.
Well, there'll be another feature or two, because it came off the back of the ABC strategy, which seemed not quite to leave Lurgan out, but there was no kind of Lurgan-centric aspect to any of it that I could see or you could see. We know the regulars, so I just thought it's time to kind of put up or shut up, I suppose, that there are things that are worth seeing and doing to not just a local audience, but to an audience further afield. Now, to be proven, of course, but I think there are. I have another 2 or 3 series to go. Let's have a look at this as I kind of focused on some of our parks that can be major attraction to visitors from further afield. Welcome to Lurgan Park. It's the largest urban park in Northern Ireland, and it's the second in the whole island. It's been here, or at least under the ownership of the local borough council and now the ABC council, from 1909. Before that, it was a domain that was attached to Brownlow House. It's got lots of bird life, as you can see, and lots of doggy life too. Yeah, the birds, they like to take a walk in the park on a regular basis. Sometimes following each other, just sometimes going on their own separate way. Much like we humans. And swans, well, they're birds too, aren't they? It has a most magnificent lake within its 259 square acres, and that lake takes up about 59 of them. So in truth, that was a story I meant to bring last week, Michael, but I didn't because I got caught up with a bird watcher who proved to be a
twitcher.
Well, more of a clicker of twitchers. Yeah. It was a good story. We got good response to it.
It was very good actually. That story. Yeah.
Mark McGee was the photographer's name. So that's why it happened this time. So I'm going to feature on a few other focal points of the town with regards to tourism. And I was in Gort. I might have mentioned this earlier. Gort near Lady Gregory's Cool Park. And it is a...
Sounds like something one of my friends got whenever he drank too much Buckfast.
Possibly. That's gout, Michael.
Oh, yes.
Gort, I think, translates to the Irish to mean field. It's a heritage town.
Okay.
It's a heritage town. And that's the way forward for a lot of towns in Southern Ireland. They're designating themselves to be heritage towns, so they get certain protection and certain encouragement from the government. We have a certain amount of it in the Lurgan Townscape Heritage Scheme, where they had 5 or 6 million to put into buildings and stuff. But I think a lot of towns are looking to heritage as a way of encouraging people to come and see their towns. So it's a possibility for Lurgan.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Does.
But you're not really interested today. Move on. You're a sleepy, tired, overworked.
Well, to be fair, you weren't home till 5 o'clock this morning, so I mean, you're probably the same yourself.
I wasn't out drinking because I don't drink, but I was coming back from Galway, and I knew I had to come back for this important event this afternoon.
We could have recorded it on Zoom.
We could have, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. I don't get the mileage for a start.
So that's...
Hi, Jane.
and that's not about washing or Lifebuoy. That's about hello, Jean. How are you doing?
We'll talk about something else now. The Rotary Club? With another video during the week you produced about the Rotary Club and the good work they've been doing in the community.
So hands up. I am a member now of the Lurgan Rotary Club. I was invited about 3 or 4 months ago. And one of the things I thought I could offer was a little bit of promotion about the work that they do. They're a voluntary organisation, so it's not as if I was getting a paid gig here doing this. But it was apparent to the members of that Rotary Club, it's been going from the 50s, that they had to do something immediate, particularly with the energy crisis and all the rest. So they designated to give 5,000 from a fund that they have to 2 local charitable organisations, Salvation Army and of course St Vincent de Paul, who both actually cater for all the community. They're not one side or t'other, as we like to talk about here. So they were going to be helping everybody in the community, and they thought, the Rotary Club thought this was the best way to help in the immediacy of the situation, which I think was more than laudable. And I'm sure they'll perhaps step in again. We don't know how the circumstances will go. So as part of that, I spoke to Sean Wilson, who is the president.
I was going to say, that's a very good start. You remembered his name, because if you forgot the president's name, within days of starting your new role as
non-member of the Lurgan Rotary.
Yes.
Black ball is what they call it. Your black ball. Yeah, he's actually Dr. Sean Wilson, well known in the town. He was in one of the local surgeries. Retired 3 or 4 years ago, but he was able to tell me what the work that they do, and they do good work. And I suppose it's a time to get the word out there that they're doing this. They're not looking to be said, we're wonderful people, but they want to get more people to know what they do, so that when they go out and collect money, they know that it's going to a reliable source. It's helping people further afield, but also looking for new members. Would you like to become a member of the Lurgan Rotary Club?
I haven't the time, I need my sleep.
Funny enough, I was thinking that. But that's part of the mission too.
But thanks very much for the kind offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Funny, I was actually offered, whenever I was working in Armagh, they wanted me to become a member of the Rotary Club there. Yeah. And again, I turned them down just due to the fact that I haven't really time to commit to charitable efforts at the minute. But I wish you well in your endeavours, and hopefully you'll represent Your Lurgan well on the Rotary stage. Without
doubt. There isn't a stage actually. We sit down in a room with chairs just.
I would have thought so.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a part of the week, and then I scooted off elsewhere. But you see, I got your story back when I did.
Sure, it's not brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I only work for you, Michael. No mileage involved, Gene. Don't worry about it.
No, you're enough as it is. Anyway, watch a wee clip of your video, by the way.
Wow. Oh yes, I thought we'd put that already. Here it is. This is Sean Wilson.
We were fortunate enough to be able to give cheques to both St Vincent de Paul and also to the Salvation Army locally, both in Lurgan, in an effort to help them with the work that they do in what are very difficult and challenging times for everybody locally. I think this is going to be a difficult winter. And so we were able as a club to give some funds to both organisations to help them as they help people with their food bills, their electricity bills, etc., in a difficult year, as I say.
Tell me about Rotary, and particularly here in Lurgan, if you know its origins, how it's been around, and what it actually does.
Well, the Rotary, more generally in an international setup, is started about 1905, I think, something like that. An attorney, as they call them in America, called Paul Harris, was the originator of Rotary, and so it's been going over 100 years. In Lurgan, the Lurgan Club started about 1953 or 54. Very good year, 54, but that's beside the point. So we've been here quite a few years.
And if you do feel like chipping in with the membership, joining up, there is a link on our Facebook page, the Rotary Club of Lurgan. Have a look at that.
Sport. Gaelic games. What's happening?
Oh, I think
sorry, I just love the way I introduced that there. Is it? I really don't care. What's happening? What's happening, Donagh? What's happening in the World of Gaelic Games?
Largely it's party time now, because all the games are over. The seasons have ended for all the local clubs. The county is long put to bed, and we're waiting for the revival in January of the National League. So this is a slumber time, but it's a party time too. It's a chance to reflect on the year gone by, and also to look to the future, and perhaps celebrate, commemorate some of those heroes, if you like. So there are a lot of dinner dances going on for the different clubs. One in particular, the Sarsfields clubs way down at towards Derry Trasna, they're celebrated last night. I was there. Here's a minuscule snippet of what happened.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Annie and Patrick from Spaintown and the caterers today for looking after us. It's good to see so many people out tonight. There wasn't so many here last night from the GM. so many years, Mark stepped aside and Declan was reappointed, so I think we should give Mark a round of applause for his hard work. The Kieran McGirt Perpetual Trophy goes to Thomas McLean.
And hopefully during the week we'll have a bit of a longer look at that aspect. So that's one of a number. I know St Michael's and Marilyn, which is not terribly far away, are looking forward to their dinner, dance and celebrations. I think they're celebrating 60 years.
60 years, I think it is, yeah.
So an important event for them. They're in, albeit in County Down, of course, but they're close enough to have had people from Lurgan playing for them and vice versa. People from there coming to play for Lurgan Gaelic clubs and soccer clubs too. And right in the middle of it, where their pitch is just 150 yards from Bedeck.
Oh yes, of course.
Which you know well. So Eugene Craney will have some more reporting during the week too. I think he's looking back at the season, as it were, some stage too, but we'll know more about that during the week.
Actually, that is a nice segue into our next and probably final topic of the day: football.
You think I don't know what I'm doing here, don't you?
I could have given you another link to that part of the work, or to the whole Marlin football pitch. I don't think I'll do it actually because it'll give somebody's address away, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, the Glenavon have enjoyed a bit of a revival recently. 3 out of 5. They've won their last 2.
Of course, I was up there last week. We didn't mention that, didn't we? We had the big community day there last week.
Oh yeah, you were there, of course. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, before we get into that there, so let's mention that and give that a wee go as well, because number 1, it was a good event. Number 2, it'll drag out the length of this podcast.
And it'll be time for you to sleep in between as we watch this. That'll make a good viewing.
That will put everybody's blood pressure through the roof, probably.
Can I ask you your name?
Rachel.
And where are you from, Rachel?
Fitness Factory in Lurgan.
Okay, we've been there. Fine place that it is too. And what do you do there? What's your role?
I take the spin classes and the boot camps and personal training.
So was it you or your sister we met the last night?
I met my sister.
You see that I'm on the ball here. So why should we join someone like yourself on a spinning class? I mean, it looks... You're just on a bicycle. You're not going anywhere. I mean, what's the point?
It's good for you. It's good for you and it's good fun. It's good fun.
How long have you been cycling?
I think I've been here an hour.
And is this Dad?
This is Dad.
So you're the man that's right in the heart of the fiction. I keep wanting to call it Fiction Factory, but it's the Fitness Factory.
Yep.
Largely because I think fitness is a fiction for me because I'm so unfit.
But sure, you tell everybody you're fit.
Absolutely, and then you start to believe in yourself. So what are you telling the people who are coming today?
Just trying to get them involved in fitness. And it's good for their well-being and their mental health. And it's better than sitting in a bar.
Well, we are actually in a bar, but we're not encouraging.
We're not serving alcohol today,
and we're not encouraging people
No.
to. Well, whatever you do in your free time is yourself. You're a pretty fit man yourself.
I try to stay that way. I'm getting a wee bit older now, but I'm still trying it.
Come on. We're back on.
Well,
yeah. Link the community day.
Football. Yeah.
Football.
Community day was held at Moorview Park. Glenavon played at Moorview Park. Here's some football. Glenavon have won their last 2 in a row prior to Saturday's game, which was at Solitude against Cliftonville.
Just want to stop you there. Does 2 constitute a row? Surely
Yeah.
they're semi-detached. They're not a row, are they?
Okay.
Well, okay. We'll
2,
argue
they've
later.
won their last 2 games in the bounce. We'll say then. 3 of their last 5, and the other 2 which they lost, they put in very encouraging performances against Crusaders and Linfield. Very narrowly beaten by the odd goal in 5 in each of those games. But good performances nonetheless.
They're scoring all over the game.
They are. I mean,
Everywhere.
Matthew Fitzpatrick, who, if you don't follow Glenavon, if you're, maybe more into your Gaelic games, you'll maybe know Matthew Fitzpatrick more as a Gaelic player. Of course, played for Antrim. He's on 7 goals for the season, which is quite a good return.
Are they calling him Haaland at this stage? No.
No.
Not quite.
have I told my Erling Haaland story?
No, but you're going to now.
I can't remember if I tell the story right. Erling Haaland played against Glenavon.
When?
2018. He actually played Moorview Park the same night that England played Croatia in the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Wow.
And lost. But it was the Europa League qualifiers. He was playing for Molde, the Norwegian team, who at the time were managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Wow, yeah, okay.
And Glenavon actually won that game at Moorview Park 1-0.
So he didn't score?
No.
Oh, that's a phenomenon.
Andy Doyle, I think it was 1-0. Did it finish 1-0 or was it 2-1? I can't remember what the scores. Glenavon won the match anyway. And Andy Doyle had Erling Haaland in his back pocket the whole night.
No.
So
that's not something
there
too
was
many
a stat,
people
I don't know if it's
say
still
now,
true.
yeah.
I don't know if it's still true, but up until recently, the only team in the UK that Erling Haaland hadn't scored against was Glenavon, that he had played against.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's a record.
There you go.
You can pull that out when he's about to put on the Champions League medal.
Yeah.
This boy played against everybody, scored against everybody, but not Glenavon. Wow, what a fact.
Anyway, we digress. So Fitzy's on 7 for the season, doing really well. He's actually been really well supported as well by Skinner, Owen Bradley.
Oh yeah, of course. Who played for Derry in Gaelic football too, yeah.
So, going really well. But could that run continue against the Cliftonville side, who before the game was played were sitting 4th, 3 points off the top of the league? Here is my report on how it went. Full time of solitude is finished somehow. Glenavon to Cliftonville to Cliftonville were 2-0 up. They went ahead through Ronan Hale 23 minutes, and then Joe Gormley came on the second half. Scored about 73, I think it was, and to make it 2-0. Glenavon, I mean, Pasties weren't even in the game. They played right in the second half. First half they were. Cliftonville just dominated the game, in fairness, but they came back. A backheel from from Josh Doyle made it 2-1 on 83 minutes, and it sort of gave Glenavon a wee bit of life, and they came back into the game, managed to sneak an equaliser on 88 minutes. An own goal it was too, but they'll take it. They'll take a point, a well-earned point as well in the end, given their fight back. But it's finished 2 each. I can't believe we've actually come away here for a point. If Glenavon can get 3 points out of the next 3 games, I'd nearly be happy enough. So that's 1. Glentoran on Tuesday night, going to be a massive game. The league leaders, going to be tough. They're going to have to contend with some injuries as well. Jack Malone went off. Matthew Fitzpatrick also went off in the first half, so a few injury concerns going into that match, but going to be an interesting afternoon, or evening rather, on Tuesday night.
I don't know whether to look left to the past or right to the future for your reports, because we're so confused. We do this on a Friday and the matches, you know what's going on here. Anyway, yeah, so you're a little bit more, I was going to say agitated or revived than you were today, but that could be the opposite actually, depending on the result. They're a tough side, Cliftonville.
Yeah, Glenavon have never really enjoyed. I think the last time we beat them was in 2019, and the last time we beat them at Solitude was in 2018. So really not enjoyed the best run of form against the Reds. They're a very good side, of course. You know, Paddy McLaughlin has been playing really good football. It's a tough place to go to in the best of occasions anyway, because of the Solitude's one of those old grounds, and
it's tight and small, tight, yes, and whatever.
And you know, the Red Army, as they call themselves, you know, always give you a hostile welcome. But it'll be. Say
hello to Liam Murray, who's very much involved with Cliftonville, has been for years. If you've seen him or seen him.
I don't know who that is, Donagh, but I'll find out who he is, I will.
Yeah.
Tim McGarry will probably be there too. Tim, I think, has sponsored a couple of games, Cliftonville against Glenavon games.
He's a big fan of Glenavon.
He is,
yeah.
More likely to see him. But,
yeah,
and Jimmy Boyce.
Sure. Jimmy Boyce. Yeah, part of the Northern Ireland kind of IFA, isn't it?
I used to see Jimmy, even though Jimmy was not part of the football team, you know, the Cliftonville backroom staff, always would have stood just at the side of the pitch beside the Cliftonville dugout. But sheepskin coat and all. Good man, Jimmy.
He's quite an easy. He used to have this curly tight hair. Mm-hmm. I used to see him when I worked. I sat for the BBC a few times up the Cliftonville matches, reporting back to the to the main match. So I used to see him there. Nice guy.
Aye, Jimmy's all right. I think that's us.
What's coming up with Glenavon in the next week or two?
Oh, Tuesday night they play Glentoran. They have a really tough run of fixtures coming up. We have obviously Cliftonville, which will have been played by the time this comes out. Glentoran. Then I think the following week it's Linfield away at Windsor Park. Now that's That's going to be an interesting game because the game is being used as a trial for VAR. Now VAR is going to have no impact on the result. The referee won't be able to run over to the screen and have a look and see if he's got a decision wrong. It's just basically a trial to see how it works and how things go. I think the IFA are looking at it as like a not quite on the same scale as the VAR they use in the Premier League, but one which can check whether goals are counted, or like mistaken identity, maybe checking red cards. A lot of the same idea of what goes on in the Premier League, but not quite.
We have VAR in this podcast. We're going to reflect back on what you said. We're going to play it in slow motion and see if you actually used the word VAR. Okay, so here's how it was.
Full time of Solitude is finished. Somehow Glenavon 2, Cliftonville 2, Cliftonville were 2-0 up. They went ahead through Ronan Hill, 23 minutes, and then Joe Gormley came on the second half.
And the referee has decided it's all clear. You were good.
Never in doubt. So that'll be an interesting game. Again, we'll not really know what the outcome of that was. I think there's a couple of games coming up. An interesting point about that is the IFA, or sorry, not the IFA, NIFL, the Northern Ireland Football League, are basically saying, yeah, going well and good doing these trials, but there's no referees to implement
to back up,
because you need an extra 2 officials per game. So there's no question where they come from.
These are televised games only, obviously.
No.
Every game.
No, well, they're trying it 2 different games. They're trying it at this game in November, and then I think there's a Cliftonville match in January. They're going to try that as well, just to see how it would work. There's obviously going to be a cost in terms of getting a system put in place. They need to find more match officials to, implement the system, run it, because you need a video referee and an assistant video referee, to basically keep an eye on the video while the referee goes and makes a cup of tea.
Here's where there might be a bit of learning in the whole scheme of things from Gaelic games. The referee usually brings, or the visiting team bring their set of umpires who go to one post, and then the other local team put the umpires from their ground at the other side. So you could bring your own umpires every week. God. Wouldn't that be a lovely way to...
It would end disaster. So yeah, that'll be an interesting game. And then finally, after that then they play Coleraine. So we've got 4 really tough games in a row. I expect December's going to be scant in terms of points. Sorry, November's going to be scant in terms of points, but actually you never know. They haven't always play well against the big teams, so you never know.
And they used to be a big team. I have a memory.
Still are a massive club.
I've got, my memory goes back to when they really were up there, and then down there, and up there, down. Anyway, it's great to have a team in our town. And you're talking about that. You're talking about Glentoran. Just reminds me, Bobby Burns will be back. He played for Glenavon, didn't he?
He did. In fact, there's quite a few former Glenavon players who'll be in that team. Bobby Burns is one. You have Reece Marshall, another Lurgan man. He'll be in that squad. Danny Perkins will probably play up front for them. Less said about him, the better. And I haven't forgiven him for last season, what happened. I don't think I ever will. To be quite honest.
He's not on your Christmas card list then?
No, he's not. Okay. I think he's actually still friends with me on Facebook. I must take a look. Hope you're not watching, Danny. Anyway.
So we've been interrupting your sleep patterns too much now. That's it for this week, would you say?
I would say so.
So let me do the social networking stuff. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're in TikTok, we're in
Twitter,
YouTube, and YouTube.
YouTube.
Thank you. Old jokes are the truest.
Sorry.
So bye to Ethan, because Ethan's our biggest fan.
He's probably the only one watching us.
Yeah. Don't spoil it for someone else. I used to do discos, Michael, and it was always a success.
I used to eat those.
Did you? I used to discos here and discos there.
Oh,
I used to, on occasion, I outnumbered the crowd, and that was a bad night. But I don't think we are tonight. If you have a comment on what you're hearing or want to know more, have a story, and a lot of people are reaching out to Michael. info@yourlurgan.com.
Yes, please do get in touch. We've had some people contacting us recently. We've had some really good stories come into us from the members of the public. In all seriousness, there was one actually came in just before he started recording this, which is, we'll keep an eye on it. It's a court case, so we can't say too much about it, but it's horrendous, and we want to thank the public for getting in touch with us and letting us know all about their stories and what they want us to let us know. And like, if there is anything we can do to highlight an issue for you, do get in touch. We have got the contact, so we can do it for you. In fact, there was another issue as well that was raised, but I'm still waiting on a response to that there from how do I put this? Again, we want to give away our stories. A group of people who aren't happy with the conditions they find themselves in work, and there's pressure being put on them. So that's an interesting story that's going to come. I don't want to say too much about that one, but that's one that affects a lot of people, and people are going to be shocked when they read what we have to say whenever we get the details.
Shock, horror, amazement. Stay tuned to Your Lurgan. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Michael is away into hibernation. I'm going to get up and about and run about, and then I'm going to go back to bed as well. So, from Your Lurgan podcast this week, I'm Donagh McKeown.
And I'm Michael Scott.
See you soon.
Bye now.